Yeah. The best way to predict the future is to create it. Time is precious, time is money, and this is the time for Money Talk on Atlantic Television Network. Good day, viewers, and welcome to a fresh episode of ATN Business on Atlantic Television Network, right here in the city of Port Harcourt. This is the network's medium of bringing the happenings in the economic sector of society to our discerning viewers. This program is aimed at bringing to the doorstep of viewers the business, financial, and economic activities from all strata of society. Its delivery is accentuated through the various stock exchanges across the world, news about government economic activities, private sector business activities laced with expert opinions, stakeholders' analyses, and correspondence report. We are open for advert placement, bookings, and commercials. You can connect with us on all our ATN socials on Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, on Twitter, Atlantic TV Net, or you can watch us live on our website at www.atlanticnetwork.tv. We take a short break, and when we return, we'll fill out the details. Do stay tuned. go up like to the third story, then I'll read it. Huh? Vine, can you hear me? Vine, can you hear me? Huh?
I can hear you now.
Alright. I can hear. Hold on, Vine. I'm gonna call you in, okay?
Okay.
Do you mind just scrolling down to the topic? Man, show you. Sir, I feel talk on this part. No, keep going. Don't show me this one. Keep scrolling. See, you see. Keep scrolling. Eh? The third one, 50% tariff hike. About communication. Yes, on 50% tariff hike. 50% tariff hike was the and then after that one, the last one about finance and African economy. Yes. He did that one, the last story before I go on break. Thank you. Yeah. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Joining me to analyze our top stories today is Miss Ndubisi Glory. Miss Ndubisi Glory is an economist and a business coach. Thank you for joining us today, Miss Glory.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Thank you. Nigerian Communication, and our first story, Nigerian Communications Commission approved the 50% increase in call tariffs on Monday, which may raise the average cost of calls to 16.5 naira per minute. Based on the 2023 National Telephone Tariff data, this hike could generate over 6.74 trillion naira in revenue for telecom operators in 2025 if call volumes remain stable. Hence, Nigerians may pay this amount to the firms. However, this projection excludes the impact of free and discounted call promotions, which may alter actual revenue figures. An analysis of data from the latest 2023 subscriber/network performance reports by the NCC showed that in 2023, total outgoing telephone traffic was 205.3 billion minutes, while incoming traffic stood at 203.2 billion minutes. This implies that Nigerians spent about percent requested by some network operators was arrived at, taking into account ongoing industry reforms that will positively influence sustainability. These adjustments will remain within the tariff bands stipulated in the 2013 NCC cost study, and requests will be reviewed on a case-by-case basis, as is the Commission's standard practice for tariff reviews. It will be implemented in strict adherence to the recently issued NCC guidance on tariff Simplification 2024. According to the Commission, tariff rates have remained static since 2013 despite inflation and rising operational costs that have strained the telecommunications industry.
Don't checkmate it. There's something we call the break-even point, meaning that your cost, or sorry, your loss is equal to your profit, and sorry, your revenue. And so to checkmate or to sustain these telecom industries, they need to, source out revenues. Now, not on the side of them increasing it to 50%, that's the tariff, but then we need to consider the business perspective also, being that there are things they need to do to sustain these telecom industries. Now, if they are increasing the cost of, let's say, SMS, data, and the rest of them, now we know that in their operational cost, it has increased over time. In as much as they are trying to balance the revenue and the operational cost, they should also look at the aftermath effect on customers as well. Sorry, I can't hear you. I think the network is not working now. I can't hear you. In as much as the burden is detrimental to consumers or customers, I mentioned the business perspective. Yeah. Now, to sustain them and keep them running over time, they need their own revenue to keep them in this industry. So what I'm trying to say is that there should be a balance. In as much as the policy has been carried on already, there should be a balance. Now, the price of that's making a minute call now has been increased, right?
Yes.
To 16 naira.
6 naira.
Okay, and SMS as well to 6 naira.
Yes.
Now, what I'm also trying to point out is, instead of making such high cost for services or communication services, why not checkmate this? And there are many ways to checkmate it.
The claim is that the price of things has increased, therefore it's essential that these also should follow suit. Is that valid?
Okay. You mentioned a significant adjustment since 2013. This is the first. Okay, now let's put it this way: that this is the first significant adjustment since 2013.
Yeah.
No such thing has been done since 2013. Now, I'm saying that it's valid. Why? So there can be sustainability. Okay. But then, like I mentioned, the consumer's burden. The consumer's burden should be considered also. So, in as much as they are trying to run the industry so that they won't exit the market or exit the telecom market, okay. Now, there is something that happened over time in a state, in northern states.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
And then now on the regulatory body part, they have to play their part well to ensure that the policies which they pass on does not bring in a heavy burden on final consumers.
Okay. Like you said, due to some technicalities, the telecommunications was affected in the state you mentioned. Should we be concerned about increasing tariff hike against improving the quality of communications consumers are open to? Because we're not against tariff hike. We're looking at currently there's been a hiccup in the flow of network, and then we are trying to battle that, and then we wake up one morning and we're hearing that there's a 50% tariff hike. It's just like I use NEPA
message across, then it should be worth it. Okay. So I think now this is the part where the industry is involved, the telecom industry is involved, should increase the quality of their service, ensuring that both the business and consumers are all satisfied at the end of the day.
Okay, so for, as an economist, in your opinion, you don't think a 50% tariff hike is too much, considering the economic state? What if we have done 15 or 20 or 25, or like 50, or is it necessary?
Sorry, come again.
I was asking. I said, as an economist, you don't think the 50% tariff hike, or
even if it requires the communication cost, the revenue being generated over time being stable or constant. Now, why not government come in and also intervene on this? So, in as much as they're increasing the cost of communication, or the tariff hike is increased to 50%, I don't think that's okay, because it's devastating. Okay, so need to checkmate this. That is why I mentioned before we got to this place something about equilibrium. There should be an equilibrium whereby the business, at the end of the day, get what they want, and we, the final consumers, we are not burdened.
Okay.
I don't know if you
yes. So it becomes a two-way win.
Sure. It's not a win-win. So if it's not done, eventually we'll begin to complain.
Must brace for substantial economic challenges in the coming years. The ISS noted that during Trump's first term, his America First philosophy prioritized domestic interest over international partnerships, raising concern about the future of United States-Africa relations. The institute also stressed the importance of African nations diversifying their trade partnerships and using this transition period to negotiate better bilateral deals. The director of the Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprise, CPPE, Muda Yusuf, warned that AGOA may not survive Trump's highly transactional approach to governance. Despite these challenges, some analysts believe Africa could benefit from the shifting dynamics. A diminished focus on the continent by the United States could enable China and the European Union to strengthen their economic ties with Africa, filling the void left by reduced American trade engagement. Similarly, Emmanuel Onwubiko, founder of the Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria, described Trump's return as an opportunity for African countries to adapt proactive strategies in shaping their political and economic relations with the United States. He called for developing resilient measures to navigate shifting American policies rather than reacting to them. Onwubiko stressed the importance of Nigeria leveraging the technical military assistance it has received from the United States in its fight against terrorism. He also highlighted the need for Nigeria to adhere to international human rights obligations, including Chapter 4 of the Nigerian Constitution and global humanitarian treaties. As a Nigerian, I expect the incoming American president to uphold the United States' global role as a promoter of human rights and democracy. While Trump's presidency emphasizes America first, the United States' status as a world power would diminish if it abandons its commitment to global democracy and human rights, he said. Ms. Glory, as at early this morning, we saw Trump being sworn in as a new president of America, and analysts are having divergent view towards his ascension as second time as a president. What's your take? And here we have African's economy as crossroads. Trump's second coming by a speculation by analysts. As an economist, what's your take on the new trend that is about to hit the economic sector due to the new government?
Okay, let's start with this. We can't deny the fact that African economy is quite challenging. We face challenges.
Okay.
Starting from the slow growth. Okay, we have limited diversification.
Yeah.
And we rely so much on foreign aid and investment. So, U.S. president's inauguration, okay, has even led to there's a the South African rand reduced, or
okay.
That's the currency
rupee
fell immediately after his inauguration, right?
Yeah.
So, But his first, we should not forget that his first term, he actually made this clear. He complicated the US policy that has always been in favor of the African development, where he raised the America First
Doctrine, agenda.
Policy agenda.
Yeah.
So Africans, now I think this is what we should expect.
Okay.
We should expect, number one, trade uncertainty.
Okay.
Now the AGOA before now have always had access to the US market on certain goods, right?
Yeah.
And if the program ends, it's going to cause, we should expect a devastating impact on the African economy, given our exports, especially on agricultural products.
Okay.
And also our textiles, right?
Yeah.
And then we should also expect reduced foreign aid.
Okay.
Trump, like I said, he has complicated the issue of the US policy in favor of the African development. So if we are expecting foreign aid now, I don't think I will expect the kind of foreign aid we've been getting over time. Now, foreign aid in terms of health, education, you know that Africans, we so depend on foreign aid, the aid on health and education and even infrastructures. So if we don't want to be disappointed at the end of the day, we should reduce our expectations in that aspect. Now, the last thing I think we should be expecting, of course, is currency depreciation. Now, if the US president, like I said, has made his country his priority, it means that currency will become stronger than any other currency. Like I said, that the South African rand just dropped value of other the currency of our Africa now to rise to that extent which we are expecting, because he's going to make, or the policies are going to make the US dollars much stronger than ever before. Then the next thing I think we should be expecting, of course, is what I want to call geopolitical shift, where I would say African countries now begin to look for new allies. They'll look for new people that will stand for them, like maybe the China, or this world power, the China, or maybe Russia,
European Union.
And then, but there is something we should not forget, that if these countries begin to compete over the African economy, now we've overlooked the dangers behind foreign aid. It's just like somebody giving you an apple, or you wouldn't know that this apple is bad inside. That is how foreign aids look like. And if we begin to look for new allies, let's say China, to stand or to come in, to come in and intervene on our behalf. Now, other world powers will begin to compete over Africa economy. So there will be a high level of competition. So these are the things I think we should begin to expect now, given that the US President Trump has decided to, make the economy of the US his priority.
So
we should,
So would you say we shouldn't put all our eggs in one basket currently? We should spread them abroad.
Yes, we shouldn't put our eggs in one. Matter of fact, this is even a call to awake our government.
Yes, economists, do have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me, ma'am. We go on the short. We'll move on to the foreign exchange trade, current exchange market, and the stock markets. Do not go away. Stay tuned. Welcome back and thank you for staying with me. The dollar rebounded sharply on Tuesday after plunging hours earlier as Donald Trump's first day back in the U.S. presidency brought mixed messaging on tariffs and highlighted investor sensitivity to headlines about trade policy. U.S. stock futures rose up after bouncing around on Monday as traders digested Trump's statement on economic policy and trade levies, while European equities eked out small gains. The Mexican peso and Canadian dollar tumbled on Monday night, reversing sharp gains from earlier in the day after Trump said he was mulling imposing 25% tariffs on the neighboring countries as soon as February 1. That sent the message of $0.689. Around 11 hours earlier, the US dollar had plunged against its peers after a presidential memo, first reported by the Wall Street Journal, said the administration would probe trade issues but stop short of day one tariffs. The dollar index, which measures the currency against six peers, was last up 0.64% at 108.69 on Tuesday, although failed to make back the 1.2% it lost on Monday in its biggest daily fall since November 2023. The first few hours of the Trump administration have underscored that the policy environment will be dynamic once again and markets should brace for volatility, said Charu Kanana, Saxo's chief investment strategist. Clearly, the markets celebrated too soon with tariff threats missing at the outset in Trump's inaugural speech. The euro was last down 0.62% at $1.0353 after rallying 1.54% on Monday amid the relief about a delay in tariffs. Sterling was 0.67% lower at $1.2248 after jumping 1.3% the previous day. Trump also said he wanted to reverse the U.S. trade deficit with the European Union, need either with tariffs or more energy exports. European shares were subdued on Tuesday as rising financials and healthcare shares countered broader losses stemming from uncertainty related to U.S. President Donald Trump's proposed tariff measures following his inauguration. The pan-European stocks 600 was up 0.1% as of 09:54 GMT, hovering near its highest in 3 months. Heavyweight healthcare led the gains with a 0.7% rise, with drug maker Novo Nordisk advancing 2.9%. Financial services gained 0.5%, boosted by a 4.5% jump in Aberdeen after the British asset manager swung to net inflows in the fourth quarter. Personal and household goods was also among the top winning sectors, adding 0.6%. Markets around the globe reacted to the beginning of Donald Trump's presidency. He did not immediately impose any tariffs when he took office on Monday, but said he was thinking about imposing 25% duties on imports from Canada and Mexico on February 1. Trump also revealed his plans to reverse the U.S. trade deficit with the European Union, either with tariffs or more energy exports. European automakers came under pressure. Shares of Volkswagen, BMW and Stellantis slipped about 1% each on uncertainty over possible new tariffs. Basic Resources dipped 0.8%, tracking lower metal prices. Market is clearly on edge at this point about what comes next, said Chris Biokamp, chief market analyst at IG Group, adding that there is a sense that this administration will take a hard line on tariffs, but the implementation of course takes a while. Beg your pardon. The European Union's senior financial official said that Trump's return to the White House is a wake-up call for EU countries to fix their economies and become more competitive. This comes at a time when Trump's tariff-related rhetoric has ignited possibilities of a global trade war. Among other stocks, Ørsted tumbled 15.2% after the offshore wind developer posted an impairment charge of 12.1 billion Danish crowns, $1.69 billion related to its U.S. offshore portfolio. Other wind power stocks, including Vestas Wind Systems and Nordex SE, fell about 2.6% each after Trump suspended new federal offshore wind leasing pending an environmental and economic review. Markets have been sensitive to any reports on Trump's tariff policies on concerns it could spark a global trade warrant fresh inflation pressures. Tariffs mean a stronger US dollar due to higher import prices and weaker global growth. No tariffs mean stronger global trade and a more robust global growth backdrop, said Kyle Roeder, a senior market analyst at Capital.com. Just like the first Trump administration, the markets are highly sensitive to headline risk, especially as it relates to trade wars. During the first year of Trump's first administration, the S&P 500 rose 19.4%, while during the entirety of his first term, the benchmark index rose nearly 68%, but saw bouts of volatility stemming in parts from